Hey there, welcome back to Movie Matchmaker. We're not just here to review movies, but also to help you find similar ones with the same plot twist. Today, let's dive into Taken. This action-packed thriller hit the screens in 2008 and revolves around Brian Mills, played by the legendary Liam Neeson. Brian is a retired CIA operative with some serious skills up his sleeve. After retiring, Brian moves closer to his 17-year-old daughter, Kim, Maggie Grace, who lives with her mom, Lenore, Famke Johnson, and her wealthy stepdad. Their relationship is a bit strained, but Brian wants to reconnect and be a part of Kim's life. Kim asks Brian for permission to travel to Paris with her friend Amanda. Despite having reservations about her safety, Brian reluctantly agrees. Shortly after reaching Paris, though, things take a dark turn. Kim and Amanda get kidnapped by a group of Albanian human traffickers who specifically target young tourists. In a heart-stopping moment, Kim manages to make a quick phone call to Brian during her abduction. Using his CIA expertise, Brian gathers crucial information from their conversation and even listens to her captors. In a calm yet bone-chilling moment, Brian directly addresses one of the kidnappers, making it clear that he'll stop at nothing to find his daughter if they don't release her. With time running out and Kim's life on the line, Brian heads to Paris on a mission to rescue her. Armed with his combat skills, connections, and experience, Brian dives into the dangerous criminal underworld, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. The film is filled with intense fight scenes, thrilling chases, and explosive shootouts as Brian hunts down those responsible. Now, let's move on to 5 other movies that share similar themes of vengeance, protecting vulnerable individuals, and the relentless pursuit of justice. First up is Man on Fire from 2004. This action thriller follows John Creasy, Denzel Washington, a troubled ex-CIA operative hired to be the bodyguard of Pita Ramos, the young daughter of a wealthy family in Mexico City. Despite his initial distance, Creasy forms a deep bond with Pita, which reignites his sense of purpose. However, Pita gets kidnapped by a violent criminal gang, and Creasy is driven by a burning desire for vengeance as he sets out to track down and eliminate everyone involved in the kidnapping. The movie sheds light on systemic corruption within Mexican law enforcement and criminal networks. Next on the list is Leon, the Professional, a crime thriller directed by Luc Besson, released back in 1994. This gripping tale showcases the unconventional friendship between a professional hitman, Leon, Jean Reno, and a young girl seeking revenge, Matilda, Natalie Portman. Leon, leading a quiet life in New York City, has his world turned upside down when Matilda's abusive family is brutally murdered by corrupt DEA agents. Seeking refuge, Matilda finds herself knocking on Leon's door, and reluctantly, he takes her in. The film is known for its intense performances and the perfect blend of action and emotional depth, making it a standout in the crime thriller genre. The third movie on our list is called Safe, and it was released in 2012. It's directed by Boaz Yakin. The story revolves around Luke Wright, played by Jason Statham, who is a former elite agent. Luke finds himself in a fight to protect a young Chinese girl named May. She has memorized a numerical code that is wanted by the triads, the Russian mob, and corrupt cops. Luke used to be a cop and an ex-cage fighter, but now he's living a destitute life in New York City after the Russian mafia murdered his family as punishment for losing a fixed fight. He's at his lowest point, living on the streets and contemplating suicide, when he meets May, a 10-year-old Chinese girl. May is a mathematical prodigy who has been forced by the Chinese triads to memorize an important numerical code. She was kidnapped from her family in China and brought to New York to work for the triad leader, Han Zhao. Realizing the significance of the code May holds, Luke decides to help her. He finds himself battling both criminal factions and corrupt police officers. Safe is known for its fast-paced action and Jason Statham's strong performance as a man seeking redemption through his brave efforts to protect a vulnerable girl against overwhelming odds. Next up on our list is The Equalizer, released in 2014 and directed by Antoine Fuqua. It's an action thriller about a retired Black Ops operative who uses his skills to protect the vulnerable and serve justice. The Equalizer follows the story of Robert McCall, played by Denzel Washington, a former Black Ops operative who just wants a quiet life in Boston. However, when he befriends a young prostitute named Terry, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, and she is brutally beaten by Russian gangsters, McCall takes matters into his own hands. He seeks revenge by killing her abusers and dismantling the criminal operations of their leader, Vladimir Pushkin. His actions catch the attention of Teddy Renson, an enforcer played by Martin Shokas, which leads to a deadly showdown. Ultimately, McCall confronts and kills Pushkin in Moscow, and then he returns to Boston, offering his vigilante services as the Equalizer. Moving on to the fifth movie on our list, we have Road to Perdition, released in 2002. It's a crime drama set during the Great Depression and follows the story of Michael Sullivan Sr., played by Tom Hanks. He is a mob enforcer working for John Rooney, portrayed by Paul Newman. Sullivan's life takes a dark turn when his son, Michael Jr., accidentally witnesses a mob hit involving Sullivan and Rooney's volatile son, Connor, played by Daniel Craig. To cover up the evidence, Connor murders Sullivan's wife and younger son, forcing Sullivan and Michael Jr. to go on the run. Seeking revenge and wanting to protect his remaining son from a life of crime, Sullivan robs banks that hold mob money and confronts the mob's operations, which leads to a deadly pursuit by a hired assassin named McGuire, played by Jude Law. Sullivan is teaching his son some serious survival skills, all in the hopes of shielding him from the violence that has been a big part of his own life. Their journey reaches its peak in an epic showdown, where Sullivan manages to gather some really incriminating evidence against Connor, takes him out, and then goes head-to-head with McGuire. Road to Perdition is a movie that delves into the themes of redemption, fierce family loyalty, and the constant battle between violence and innocence. It's all set against the backdrop of 1930s America, creating a really cool atmosphere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more insightful reviews and movie recommendations. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can stay in the loop on all our latest content. Thanks for watching.